Hey there, and welcome to my channel, the Paper Bag Investor. In today's video, we're talking about how high will Dogecoin go? That's the question for today's video. It's a question on a lot of people's minds. When do you sell your Dogecoin? We're going to be exploring this because I see three possible scenarios of, I think, how Dogecoin could go. So let's dive into it. So how high will Dogecoin go? Again, big question. I was fortunate. I bought my first Dogecoins back in February. Wish I bought it even sooner, but I bought it in February and it's had two major spiking points since then. Is it going to continue to do this sort of spiking pattern? Is it going to absolutely crash? We're going to talk about it. I've seen a lot of numbers thrown around of where it could go, of people talking about it going to the thousands of dollars. Some of these numbers, make sense. Some do not. The thousands of dollars do not make sense. In this video, I'll be sharing my view of where Dogecoin could realistically go and my exit strategy for it. I always strive to think critically and really give it to you straight with my honest perspective. And so I'll try and do that in this video. And I'm also always searching for the next multi-bagger investment. That's a big theme around my channel, trying to find these best sort of all-in, very high conviction rate investments and give you guys insights into those and actionable insights into those for you to consider. So if you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing for more investing content like this one. Hit that subscribe button down below. Okay, as I mentioned, I have three possible outcomes. First one is Dogecoin pump turns into a dump. So the pump and dump scheme chart means, if you're not familiar, a pump and dump means it gets a stock or an asset gets completely promoted and pushed up, and then at some point panic selling turns in and it starts to sell, and then panic selling, just massive drop. Totally possible. Okay, next scenario I see, or sort of possible outcome, Dogecoin reaches Bitcoin levels of market cap and maybe evens out there and becomes more stable. Bitcoin's still significantly more valuable if you look at market cap than Dogecoin. So this is a scenario as well. Dogecoin could be kind of reach that Bitcoin level. The third one, Dogecoin actually becomes a worldwide currency that's transacted back and forth. This would truly be Dogecoin to the moon. The values we're seeing now, and this meme was created at 25 cents or 60 some cents like we're at roughly now. This would be significantly higher than that. I really think all three of these are plausible outcomes, so let's look at each. First one, Dogecoin turns into the Dogecoin pump turns into a dump. It gets pumped and it's going to dump. This really could happen at any time. SNL is happening today. It could happen right after SNL. Could suddenly fear could strike. It's possible. The worst case dump would happen if buyers stopped buying and fear overtook the market. That's what happens when you reach that dump. It's just complete fear overtakes the market. And the easiest Doge holders to sell out of fear are the people currently buying out of greed. Or people, if you're buying an asset or a stock and you're buying that purely or mostly with greed as your motive, then if fear suddenly takes over the market, those people don't have sort of a fundamental backing to hold, and they would be the first, I think, to panic sell, or maybe suddenly panic sell. So there's a lot of people, and there seems to be a lot of people buying only out of greed. I have a video on how to buy Dogecoin in Canada, and you can see as the price of Dogecoin starts to spike, these people start buying more. The video gets a lot more views. So you can tell people are hearing about Dogecoin, so you hear about the opportunity and finally saying, oh, I need to buy some. And then the video spikes in views. So that would be very sad as a Dogecoin holder. Wow, much ow, new lows if it crashed down. This is a massive force, and a very possible outcome at any time. It's very risky speculative investment, Dogecoin, or just speculative asset really at this point. But on the other hand, there are very, very passionate buyers and holders of Doge. What makes them so passionate about Doge? I think there's a few reasons. But for one, Dogecoin has this very anti-establishment force behind it. Here's a good joke. Listen, we were telling you Dogecoin is a joke, this sort of establishment. And he says, yeah, I saw that every news article says the same thing. I don't care. I'm still holding. So for these people, holding Doge is sort of a way of protesting against the established systems of the world. I'm Doge, such woof, much wow, such haters, much Doge. So even within cryptocurrency, I know one of the first Dogecoin videos I put out, there were some negative comments and messages I received of people basically criticizing me, saying, this is a garbage coin that I'm promoting, and it's not Bitcoin, the one true coin or something like that. So there's a way to even say, even amongst the sort of niche crypto world, there's sort of an anti-establishment against that feeling that the buyers and holders of Dogecoin feel. So holding and buying is more also a way of proving the haters of Dogecoin wrong. I love this meme of Michael Jordan with the Dogecoin head on his face. I took that personally. So it's sort of a way of proving those established systems, sticking it to the man, kind of, I think, is a major theme behind why people are passionate about Dogecoin. It's also a way of embracing the underdog mentality, right? And finally, these passionate Dogecoin holders and buyers exist because they think Dogecoin could go much higher. And how high? That leads me to my second and third possible outcomes, as I mentioned. So the second outcome, I think, is Dogecoin reaches Bitcoin levels of market cap. This would be sort of the second level. So Bitcoin currently, they have a market cap of, there's something around 18.7 million coins in circulation and $58,000 US per coin or so at the time of making this. You get about $1.1 trillion market cap. That's just all the coins multiplied what people are paying right now in other currencies, in US dollars, for example. So it's 1.1 trillion. Dogecoin's price for them to reach 1.1 trillion would be, it would have to go to 1.1 trillion divided by, there's 113 billion coins. There's a lot more Dogecoins, and there's more, about 5 billion being minted each year. So 113 billion right now, it would have to go to about $9.75 per coin. This is still a long way to go from where Bitcoin is now. When it's at 60 cents, you're talking like a 15x increase from where current price would be. Pretty crazy just to reach both Doge or Bitcoin levels. And that would, Dogecoin would be going to the moon at that point. Certainly, though, I think this seems possible given the passionate voices behind Dogecoin described above. And if a company like Tesla started accepting Dogecoin and other companies followed, it seemed plausible it could reach a $1 trillion market cap. I tweeted this out at the end of April. I read this in an article, and it said, according to the bookies, Dogecoin has a 16-to-1 odds of reaching $1 by the end of April. And while odds makers are also placing 10-to-1 odds on Elon Musk enabling Teslas to be bought with Dogecoin later this year. So still, that's not high odds, but still 10%. The sort of odds makers, bookies are giving that sort of possibility, because Elon Musk is such a wild card, does such things in such unconventional ways. It seems plausible that he could actually allow Teslas to be bought with Dogecoins. And the third possibility is Dogecoin actually becomes a worldwide currency. So the Dogecoin standard, this good old meme that's been circulating the internet, it takes over the global financial system. If this happened, Dogecoin really took off as a day-to-day payment structure. It would really go to the moon in terms of price. There's something like 37 trillion in worldwide easily accessible currency. So the entire currency would be much larger, but this is something in this sort of order of sort of change of money that's being transacted back and forth. If Doge replaced just all of this more accessible currency, it'd be worth today 137 trillion divided by 113 billion coins, somewhere around $300+ per coin. So it goes from 60 cents, the 300 something dollars per coin. This is a possible scenario, but seems unlikely overall to me. Why? Because as Dogecoin rises in value, eventually it will lose some of its underdog or anti-establishment momentum behind it. Regulators, and governments might try and crack down and stop crypto use at this level before it reached this level even, like Dogecoin ad would reach Bitcoin levels at, I think it was like $9, and now we're talking $300 plus per coin. It's a massive shift. So I wonder if governments would crack down on this. This happened in Turkey recently. They cracked down on crypto use, the government there. But Elon has said on record that he thinks there will be one or several cryptocurrencies that take over as a global currency. I think this is likely what's going to happen as well. I could see that maybe Bitcoin is the sort of savings account of the world where people put their money into Bitcoin just to sit, if they're going to sit on an asset and hold it over time. Maybe there's another cryptocurrency like Dogecoin that actually gets transacted back, day-to-day transactions. That certainly seems possible, or maybe a few cryptocurrencies that are used, shuffled back and forth. So that certainly seems like a possible scenario. Elon is also a big Dogecoin fan and thinks since it was started as a joke, it would be the most ironic outcome for it to become the global currency, a global currency. And he said this in multiple interviews. I just saw one of him on the streets of New York. He mentioning that as well. So also another thing here, why this is, I think, still a possible outcome, that Dogecoin could become this kind of huge outcome, like, $300 plus per coin. Elon's likely going to be the world's first trillionaire. I've been saying this for quite a while. I think he will be the first trillionaire, maybe Jeff Bezos, but I think Elon is probably more likely. And the level of influence he would have as a trillionaire is really hard to fathom. So, and for example, even in the next few years, when SpaceX does their moon landing, they could have a physical Dogecoin, a little Dogecoin emblem dropped onto the actual moon. Like, think about the publicity of that. Just that one little scenario, let alone more in 10 years from now, if he's a trillionaire, the more influence he would have. So I don't think people really think carefully or critically enough about how big a deal it would be to be the world's first trillionaire. It's no one's really close right now, but Elon, I think, is poised with investments in companies he owns that he will be. Okay, so in conclusion, those are some of my 3 scenarios. In conclusion, Dogecoin is very speculative. I think all 3 scenarios are possible, could totally crash and burn. Certainly a possibility. It's a risky, speculative asset to be buying. Here's my plan. So what I plan to do is I plan to hedge my bets. I'm not going all in. I would not have the conviction. I didn't even buy a lot of Dogecoin. I wish I had. But it would not be a super high conviction asset for me, because I know that first scenario of a pump and dump, a massive dump, is very, very real. Very, very real scenario. So my plan is I plan to sell about half my position around the $1 mark and then hold the rest longer term. If Dogecoin reaches Bitcoin status, I would probably sell about, again, half my position at that point in time, and then hold the rest for the long term beyond that. So again, that's sort of my plan. Sell around half my position at around the $1 mark. And then if Bitcoin reaches and probably put that into other investments in my tax-free savings account as a Canadian. And then if Dogecoin, but if it spikes up to the like $9 mark, I would probably sell again about half of what I had. And then then the rest I would just hold for the long term, like a possible actual, $300 plus scenario. This allows me to ensure some gains while also leaving some possible to-the-moon gains out there. So it's a way of hedging my bets, not going all in. I'm not going to lose it all, not going to gain it all, but it could still have huge gains while gaining something. So what's your plan? When do you plan to sell your Dogecoin? Let us know in the comments down below. You can also check out my other Dogecoin videos if you want to see more. To go to my channel, click playlists. Under Dogecoin here, playlist, say click full playlist, and there's a number of videos here. My first one where I gave sort of my whole thesis, some Bitcoin versus Dogecoin to the moon, how it was first spiking, and this is an instruction video for Canadians on buying Dogecoin. So you can check those out. Please consider subscribing, liking if you found this valuable. Also, if you're planning to open a crypto account with Binance, Crypto.com, or Newton if you're Canadian, I have referral links down below in the description so you can get bonuses on each of those. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are the best. And remember, it's in the bag. Cheers.